Mount Pinatubo of the Philippines has been placed on eruption alert as volcanic activity sparks ash warning. We're going to take a look at what Volcano Discovery says there. Current status, minor activity, erupting warning, 3 out of 5. So this is another volcano yet to start erupting. And we have another one erupting in Antarctica. I'm going to do another one on that, another video on that, because of the fact that Antarctica has not just 47 volcanoes, but another additional 100 found. And it's not just Mount Erebus that's erupting, but something else would be erupting. Now, Mount Pinatubo Volcano has been placed on eruption alert after volcanic activity recorded. The Tokyo Volcanic Ash Advisory Center issued an alert for a possible eruption, quote unquote, for the volcano in the Philippines. It comes following 3 images snapped by Japan's Huma Huma 8 satellite. Sharing the report on Twitter, extreme weather hunter James Reynolds said, Tokyo VAC have a volcanic ash alert at Pinatubo. To which meteorologist Kyle Knoll replied, yeah, this is a suspicious volcanic activity that's going on at Mount Pinatubo. Mr. Knoll shared the image from Huma Huma 8. Now, the sloping or orographic lifting could explain a sudden burst of convection in that area rather than the volcanic eruption. This is an ash cloud. A couple of reasons to doubt the alert: lack of earthquakes from seismographs and lack of local reports. Anyone on the ground able to confirm whether there has been an eruption? A question mark. And a Pinatubo Volcano Advisory later confirms a weak explosion did in fact occur. They tweeted, the Pinatubo Volcano Network recorded seismic and infrasound signals of a weak explosion at Mount Pinatubo between 12:09 p.m. and 13 p.m. The event produced a plume that was detected by the Huma Huma 8 satellite and reported by the Tokyo Volcanic Ash Advisory Center. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. The seismic and infrastructure signals are not typical of known volcanic processes and are currently being evaluated together with other potential sources. There has been very low seismic activity in the past days, and geochemical study of the Pinatubo crater, like the lake in November, yielded low diffuse volcanic CO2 flux. They told the public to stay away from the area, of course, and local government units to prohibit entry into the crater until the source of the explosive event is known. And the crater, as we know, has a lake. So this is a very explosive situation. Water in the crater and magma coming up. Of course, we saw that in the White Island explosion of New Zealand a couple of years back. Now, they told the public to stay away, prohibiting entry. Now, it's located, as we know, in the Philippines, the central Luzon region. Pinatubo, a volcano, last erupted 3 decades ago. Its 1991 eruption was considered by the USGS as the second largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century. The effects of the eruption were felt all over the world. It ejected roughly 10 billion tons of magma and 20 million tons of sulfur, bringing vast quantities of minerals and toxic metals into the surface environment. It ejected more particulates into the stratosphere than any eruption since Krakatoa back in 1883. Over the following months, the aerosol formed a global layer of sulfuric acid haze. Global temperatures also dropped by 0.5 degrees Celsius. Now, this was according to Callum Hoare and Express UK. Let's go to the Volcano Discovery to see what's going on there. And here we have one of our very well-known volcanic ash images from USGS. This is in fact Pinatubo's eruption of 1991. Mount Pinatubo, the Philippine volcano, taken from the east side, U.S. Geological Survey. And this was from 1992. As you can see, the crater has a lake in it, right? All right, this is, of course, volcano discovery. Luzon, Philippines. Current status, minor activity or eruption warning, 3 out of 5. So they are expecting a possible eruption. Pinatubo volcano, as we said, exploded spectacularly in 1991. The eruption on June 15th, the second largest volcanic eruption in the 20th century. Pinatubo is a complex of lava domes located 100 kilometers northwest of Manila in the Philippines. Prior to the eruption, Pinatubo was a little-known volcano, and it had been dormant for 400 years. So even the dormant volcanoes, you see, can come back to life. There were no known historic eruptions, and before the eruption in 1991, Pinatubo was 1,745 meters high and was only 200 meters higher than the nearby peaks, which are remnants of older volcanic edifices of Mount Pinatubo, and hid it from views from distance. Pinatubo, mostly noted for a failed geothermal development project. Eruptions. Pinatubo has had at least 6 periods of activity with large explosive eruptions in the past 35,000 years. Prior to the 1991 eruption, the 91 eruption this context actually ranks as one of the smaller eruptions, an eruption which occurred 35,000 years ago and probably created the caldera was likely, of course, much bigger. So here we are at yellow. Okay, typical eruption style, explosive. Pinatubo volcano, eruptions, maybe now. 1992, 1991, Plinian eruption, 1450, plus or minus 50 years, 1050 BC, plus or minus 500 years, 3550 BC. Now, could this have also caused the, if you see the video before this one, having to do with the 4,000-year-old mystery of the disappearing civilization in Lanzhou, China. It had to do with, maybe it had to do with this eruption as well. Now, you can't really sometimes pin something on one event only. Now, could this, of course, ash cloud and huge eruption from 3,550 BC caused a cooling effect and rain? And maybe that's why the mud and the rain and flooding of that area in China caused the civilization to disappear. Earth changes and weather changes. Okay, the latest earthquake history, do they have? That's today, 2.2 earthquakes, 2.2 magnitude. That was back in November 23. Okay, that was a week ago. Okay, so that's the next one to be erupting, which is hopefully not going to be big. A lot of volcanoes erupting lately. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.